You see, Wednesday evenings are a great time to sit with enlightened souls and have a cup of chai. That's what this wonderful team at Cricbuzz has afforded us. I have some chai. Joy, where's your chai?
It's only for anchors, not for us.
I know. There's not, the budget wasn't there.
Yeah, budget was no.
And
It's
that
only
second cup of tea, it's cost us now. We'll have to take the bus home. There's no
that's not
longer money for a taxi.
Cricbuzz hospitality is gold standard. Unfortunately, Bangladesh's batting was anything but gold standard, thanks to the fearsome pace bowling of the Pakistanis. Although the others got a couple of wickets as well, Mushfiqur Rahim and Shakib Al Hasan stitched together a 100 partnership for the fifth wicket, and one thought maybe Bangladesh have shown the world how to bat against Pakistan. Well, unfortunately, what looked like of 250, 270 possibility ended up being a 193 all out. Bangladesh will be very, very unhappy with what they've done. The first half of the innings, they couldn't really help it because of the quality of bowling, but they've got to blame themselves for the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. I think obviously we've been talking about Pakistani pace attack, how good they are, and especially there was nothing in this wicket. It was absolutely a flat wicket to bat on, and but that's something which every team will now look to, whether how to negate these Pakistani fast bowlers. And after that, I thought they had a good partnership between Mushfiqur and Shakib, but I think the job was done by Fahim. That's something which we spoke about, that Pakistani spinners failed to do it against India, and Fahim came in and broke that partnership which was going so well. So I thought, and then bowler Haris Rauf came in and bowled brilliantly. But yeah, Bangladesh would be disappointed the way some of the shot selections, especially Mushfiqur, after getting set 37th over, there was a chance of building, there was a chance of getting his 100, but I thought we'd be disappointed with some of the shot selections.
Joy, growing up in the 90s, cricket television taught us kids words like experience, consolidation, and I thought today was a great time to bring back and remind ourselves of the power of those two words. Experience in Mushfiq and Shakib, and consolidation is what they needed, and which they sort of did pretty much to a great extent.
Yeah, that 100-run partnership, 20, 120 balls, 5 and over. I thought it is a really good partnership, and right at the beginning, they still had the fast bowlers going at them. They weathered that storm. Fahim Ashraf came in, the spinners came in, they played, they kept the run rate up at a particular rate. And I think that's where they'll be disappointed. See, if you look at it, I don't even blame Shakib, because Shakib took a shot at a time where it was worth it. Fahim Ashraf, the ball was, he was caught at the boundary. He had to take a certain amount of risk for that. Yeah. I think after that, what happened is something that will disappoint them. Somebody of the quality of Shamim Hussain, and Shamim Hussain is again, I've been talking about this old guard and new guard. And Shamim Hussain is part of that new guard, that 2020 Asia Cup winning team, under 19 World Cup winning team, top quality players. Shariful is coming from there, Shamim Hussain is coming from there, Tawhid is coming from there. And they have just, all three of them, if you see the kind of experience, the way they played today, none of them came to the party. I mean, yep. Tawhid got out early, but Shamim, after hitting a 6 again, and his first scoring shot in one-day internationals is 6, but he's played 2 one-day internationals. Yep. You've just hit Shaheen Shah Afridi for a 6, and then he goes and plays that nothing shot to Iftikhar.
You think Shakib's right now sitting in the dressing room and thinking, maybe I shouldn't have played that shot? He was batting at 53 or 57 and looking pretty set. Had he lasted longer, the innings would have still been on.
Yeah, but I don't think that shot was that bad. That they took a right option. I thought the execution didn't happen, but you had to take on someone. You had to take on either Fahim and Shadab, and that's what something Mushfiqur did really well against Shadab, and something which Shakib tried to do against Fahim. Though the shot probably didn't come off that well, but option wasn't bad, and because we just saw that partnership of 100 runs, so they were set. Yes, he would have thought that it might go for a 6, then it would have been a completely different story. But that option wasn't that bad.
Indian cricketers often use this expression, chakku cricketer. Is Mushfiq one of those chakku cricketers? Because he clearly seems to know what the ball will do and what it won't do. He's happy to play that slog sweep from outside the off stump.
Yeah, see, again, he'll know, Parthiv will give you a much better technical description of that, but he plays that ball on length. He doesn't play that ball on where it pitches. So he just puts his hand forward, and his hand eye is good enough for him to be able to. So wherever it goes, as long as it falls at that particular length, he's going to play that sweep. And I think he's very good. See, spinners, Bangladesh is used to playing spinners. They're really good against spinners. Yep. And these new kids are supposed to be good against pace as well. They're young, confident, brash young kids. But today, that's the thing, that sometimes their judgment is in question. And Shamim's judgment today was really in question. And then I have to blame again. You're saying Mushfiqur playing, he's such an experienced cricketer. Now the situation you are in, you shouldn't be taking a nothing shot because you know there's nothing. There's just you and Afif left. And if you people, we were talking about that exactly in the com box, that if we play out till the 42nd, 43rd over, whatever, 2 and over, 3 and over, and then have a whack in the end, at least you have a chance of reaching 220, 230.
A little more on Mushfiq, Parthiv. Just what he was doing, and he had this sense of what not to do against what kind of bowling. Can these things be taught in a coaching manual? Are these things, these insights that players pick up after playing for years?
Yeah, I think experience does come into play. The kind of thing which Joyda just mentioned, that when to play those shots and when not to play those shots. I thought, Mushfiqur rightly, Joyda mentioned that he was playing on the length and the line as well. Every time he swept, it was outside the off stump. So, the chances of him getting out wasn't that much, because if it would have been a risky shot if ball was spinning, then it going across would have been a risky shot, but ball was not spinning. So for him, it was an easier option to take, which he executed it really well. There were a couple of boundaries, he hit it over fine leg, but the length was shorter then. But the ball was in the stump, but the length was shorter. So obviously experience does come into play, but I thought he played really well. And what to me really good to see was after hitting a boundary, every time there was a single, the strike rotation was important so that the left-hander comes into the strike. So, he did build his inning till he played that shot of Haris Rauf, because Haris Rauf, they've brought in Haris Rauf just to get that important wicket. If you get out on a good ball or something like that, that can happen. But the shot wasn't on then.
We spoke about Shakib's dismissal, and you spoke about how perhaps the shot was on, the execution wasn't a wicket to Fahim Ashram, but the 53 runs he scored, perhaps a lesson for the other players in that side on how to construct an innings under pressure.
Just look at the strike rate here. It is almost 100, 57 ball, 53. And, while we were watching the game, it never looked like that, he was playing any big shots, any risky shots. I think that's something which shows that if you don't have to take those big risk shots to play a big inning. You can still play along the ground, especially with 5 fielders inside the circle. You can play lesser risk shots and still can get your strike rate to 90 to 100, and exactly what Shakib Al Hasan did today.
Once again, that word experience coming into play.
Yeah, and these are, they say this, they're called busy players. They're at the crease and you think, okay, they're batting in 5, 10, and suddenly you look at it, you turn around and you see what they're doing. And you look at that's the old guard again, Dhoni, Suresh Raina, Dhoni and Yuvraj Singh before that. Great partnerships again, Mushfiqur, a left-hander and a right-hander, again, batting at that position, 5th wicket. They've done it so often for Bangladesh, it's not funny. That rescue act was something which is standard for Bangladesh. And after that, you'd have Mahmudullah coming in, scoring a few runs after that. That was the template for Bangladesh cricket. Again and again, I say this, that the only problem with this Bangladesh team is it's a team in transition. What is the character of the team? Is it that 2006 team, 2005 team, or is it these youngsters? And at this point in time, I think the senior guys are doing their job. The youngsters are not giving them that firepower, explosiveness that they need.
Let's look at the slightly bigger picture of what to do against the Pakistani bowling attack, because the other day against India, you saw Ishan Kishan and Hardik Pandya do a similar kind of job for that 5th wicket. Have these two teams shown the world a certain glimpse of a template on how to bat against Pakistan?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's something which, we can again see that India had lost 4 wickets and there was a big partnership. Again, today also Bangladesh lost 4 wickets early, very early, 40 for 4, and then there was a partnership. So there is definitely a void in Pakistan bowling attack, that 4th and 5th bowler. I thought Fahim did a really good job. But for team to actually follow a template of old school, whether in first 10 overs, even if you're 40 for 2, it is fine, so that you can capitalize after that. Because bowling in one-day cricket, see, if you're playing a T20 game, bowling is difficult in power play. But in one-day cricket, bowling is difficult to bowl in between 11 to 48th over, because there is an extra fielder. Now it's been there for 3-4 years. But I think that's where you can take more advantage, and that's where ball also gets older, and that's when you can take your chances. So yeah, I think that's something which teams will try and do it.
Batting in ODI is reverse aging, Joy? Are we going back to the old ways of consolidate, keep wickets, and then take off towards the second half of the innings?
Yeah, that it used to be, because I remember, you exactly were saying that 79 World Cup, England had a 129 opening partnership. in 40 overs. I mean, if you think about it now, you almost have a heart attack thinking about it. You know, how can you do something like that? But that's where did that change? That changed first in '92 with Great Batch, coming in and hitting in the beginning, and then of course,
96.
Jayasuriya and Kaluvitar just redefined the game. But with this, I don't think it's a change for everybody. I think it's only a change when you come across an attack of the quality of Pakistan. Because you tell yourself that if I don't give Haris, Naseem and Shaheen Shah wickets up front, then they don't have firepower in the middle to be able to stop me. 11 to 40, I can go at 6 and over, 6.5 and over, and then put pressure on them. I think that's the template. But that template will not work unless you have bowlers the quality. You'll do that template against somebody who has fast bowlers of that quality there. Maybe against India, maybe against Pakistan, maybe against Australia. You'll have that tactic that, okay, let's play out these bowlers, then we go to the rest. But, if Bangladesh, for example, is bowling at you, Tuskin is good. But otherwise, you're not going to be scared and say that I'm going to hold back in the first 10. You're going to go after them.
And that depends also upon the kind of wicket they are playing.
Exactly.
If it's a turning wicket, then you want to take your chances in first 10 overs. If it's not turning, then you can give yourself a bit of time.
Are wickets likely to be very, very different across venues at the World Cup, or do you expect proper batting surfaces all across with their even bounce and not much spin?
So there won't be much spin. I don't know. I mean, except Chennai where ball spins historically, but I think India overall, yes, wickets are different. Everywhere if you go to east or go to north or west, there'll be a different kind of bounce. But this World Cup is going to be a high-scoring World Cup. There is no doubt about it. There won't be much of spin. So that's when everyone will get entertained today.
Who knows? Maybe the Indian captain Rohit Sharma has watched this innings and maybe he's watching Cricbuzz live and saying, now you know why I need Shardul Thakur in the squad. Because it's an insurance policy.
Yeah, I think there are two things. Again, I say this, that the insurance policy at 8, okay. Also, I think it's an admission from the Indian think tank that this is not the Indian batting again of 2011 or even 2019, where we were a dominant batting side. At that time, Shikhar, Rohit and Virat, the form they were in, those three and then the players that followed, you didn't have to bother. You weren't thinking about it. In 2011, somebody like a Raina came in at 7 and the batting before that you have a look at. And you say that they didn't have to bother. Here they're saying that we are not quite sure. Some players are, just making their way back. Like, Shreyas Iyer, KL Rahul are making their way back. Rohit is not in the best of form, though he showed some form in the last match. So there's a lot of question marks. Shubman Gill is a very talented player, but he's new out here. So that's what this is not the set batting side of 2019. So I can quite understand them saying, I want an insurance. And sometimes the insurance is not just about him batting. It's about me knowing that he's there at 8.
Yeah, I have a bit of a different take to it. I think, when you're playing on a flat wicket, you need quality, good, three fast bowlers. Imagine Shami, Siraj and Bumrah. So one after the other coming in. And same thing which is happening with Pakistani bowlers. There's Shaheen Shah Afridi, then there's Naseem and then there's Haris Rauf coming. But if India is playing with only 2 fast bowlers, at this point of time it looks like Bumrah and Siraj to start with, then Shardul and Hardik Pandya comes in. So that's when the same thing could happen. So thinking wise is right. India is definitely thinking.
No, in fact, I'm on your side. I've been shouting all these days. That this is what they're thinking, that they want the batter at 8. But I genuinely believe that, in fact, I wouldn't have had Shardul at all. I would have had Prasidh and say that 3 really good fast bowlers go at you, go get your wickets.
The moment we start talking India, we get so sucked into the debate that we forget that there's another game to talk about. But guess what? There's an India-related question that's coming from Rahul. Not KL Rahul. It's from Rahul Thakkar. Take a look at this. What makes Rohit and Dravid's team of 23 World Cup stand apart from Kohli Shastri's in 2019? Parthiv, all yours.
To me, I think the surety of plans. I think that's something, whatever India is thinking, you can see that in the team selection also. There is no surprises. There is no, I mean, everyone could predict team before it was selected. So I think that's something which shows that they were sure of what the way they want to play and what kind of team they want, and that's exactly what they did. So I think if you're asking for that difference, what's the difference? I think that selection meeting, I don't think it would have lasted more than 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and whatever time it would have taken to just write down the names. I think everyone was probably sure of what kind of team India is going to play. So that is definitely a difference.
Pakistan's also very sure of the 11 that it wants to play. They tend to announce their 11 a day prior. Let's take a look at their bowling card. to see what Haris Rauf has done. 4 for Haris Rauf, 3 for Naseem Shah, 1 each for Shaheen Shah Afridi up top, 1 for Fahim Ashraf, the big wicket of Shakib Al Hasan, and Salman Iftikhar Ahmed, got that 1 wicket as well. Now they've gone ahead and used 7 bowlers. Should Pakistan be worried? Will they be thinking, what if the top 3 don't get wickets? What do we do? Where do we go?
See, that's why they bought in Fahim Ashraf, because they felt that Mohammad Nawaz was not giving it to them, and they felt that again with so many left-handers, good left-hander batsmen, they didn't want to take that chance. The point is just that they are trying. Agha Salman, they've tried. Iftikhar has given them 5 overs, but basically what they're saying is if Fahim Ashraf can cover 7-8 overs from their side, then they feel a lot more strong. They feel they're trying Iftikhar because again, you want to give opportunities, and I thought he bowled well given the circumstances. He bowled really well for them. I think they'll worry that Shadab should be giving them slightly more wicket-taking options, and that's what you're not seeing from him. And he will need to turn up. I'm not sure whether I don't think they're playing in Chennai at all. But if the pitches take even a little bit of turn, their spinners have to come to the party.
We've got to talk about Haris Rauf. 2 wickets against Nepal, 3 against India, 4 against Bangladesh. Haris Rauf looks like he's hit a purple patch, much like your jacket.
Yeah, he has. I mean, that's something which has rubbed onto him. Though he's been bowling really well. I thought, there was, as we've been saying since, Bangladesh innings started, it's been a flat wicket. There was no help at all from the wicket. It was just the quality and the pace and the areas which he was hitting it, relentlessly. All these wickets, even if you see that when batsmen are getting late trying to pull or making sure that he's bowling right length, which is nipped back and bowled the middle order batsman of Bangladesh. So I think Haris Rauf is at his peak right now, and he's using that pace to really well. I think that is important. There is one thing you have to have. You can have your pace, but when to use it? Use that bouncer, which we saw that against India also, that he used it against Shreyas Iyer, who was batting really well. So I think he is in great form, looked in great rhythm. So obviously Pakistan are looking forward to him, especially someone who can come and take wickets with the old ball. I think that is something that is the main thing.
That is a huge thing. For them to have a weapon like Haris Rauf coming in after 7-8 overs is such a big thing.
2 wickets.
Because then you think that, okay, the balls, you've Shaheen Shah Afridi, you've weathered him, you've seen him out. Naseem Shah, you've not nicked off to him. You said, okay, I've done well. Now one guy comes in, bowls at 148 and bowls at that length which just does not allow them to settle, because you can't really go forward in it. But if you go back on it,
so the bat doesn't go to the ball comes to the bat. It just hurries on. But why is Shaheen Shah Afridi, why does he look different in 2 different spells? Is he not as effective with a slightly older ball?
See, he's a different kind of bowler. If you look at Haris Rauf, he's like an out and out, hit the deck kind of bowler. Shaheen Shah Afridi relies a lot on swing. Once the ball gets old, it doesn't swing as much. And with 2 new balls using, there won't be much of a reverse swing either. So I think that is the reason why he doesn't look as effective as he does with the new ball. But he has that slow one. He has that ability to bowl that slower one, which we saw how he got Hardik Pandya out in last game. So that's something which he knows. He's not. That's his plan. I think his plan with old ball would be using slower ones and bouncers to effect, because I don't think swing is going to work in later part of the game.
Could he be expensive if he was bowled in the slog overs after 40? Is there a chance he could get clobbered?
No, it's not. I mean, he's not going to go for swing. He's got his variations. He's going to use his yorkers. He's going to use those outside the off-stump yorker. And something which we see it right now also, when the wickets were needed in middle overs, we didn't see Shaheen Shah Afridi. We saw Haris Rauf and Naseem Shah both hit the deck kind of bowlers, the guys who have rather more pace than Shaheen Shah Afridi. So that's how I think they are using him. They will probably use him for first 6 overs initially and try and use him after 40th over.
194 to chase for Pakistan to win their first game. This is, of course, the start of the Super 4s, and 194, when you have a top 3 like Pakistan do, they shouldn't be too worried, should they?
They won't be worried, but it's one of those iffy totals. They have to play the way they normally play.
Yep.
The danger is saying, okay, I need to go at only 4 and over. So they'll play their natural game. They'll see where the game goes. And then if they're in a situation where they're 100 for 1 or 2 in about 15, 16 overs, then they'll say, okay, can I accelerate and finish it off? But at this point in time, this is a stage where they're not looking at run rate. I don't think they're looking at run rate or anything. They're just looking at a win.
Yep.
But they will play their shots like they normally do right up front. They will play their completely natural game. They're not going to try and force a result, nor are they going to play extra cautious.
And in case things go wrong, they always have Ifti Chacha to bail them out.
Yeah, if the Chacha bailed them out today also, he's very experienced when we talk about, but something which, 194, I think Pakistan should get this easily and give tribute to Saeed Anwar. That's his birthday today. Remember 194 against India.
Oh God, I will be, it's a bad match.
But that's
It was a classy bad but
I think they should be able to get this 194.
Thank God they don't have the runner rule anymore. Please, let's not go back there. It's a touchy topic for us Indians. But Iftikhar Ahmed, Joy, I know that you invest in many companies. You understand the world of investments really well. Is Ifti Chacha a fixed deposit that gives returns more than blue chip shares? Because FDs typically don't give much interest.
No, I think he's really value. Yeah. He's really value, and why this innings was very important was because what happens is if your top three keep giving you runs, and this happened in India, 5-6 years back, the rest of the batsmen obviously they're not getting that many opportunities, and they're not in that kind of touch, international form and all. They're not getting runs because they're coming in the 38th, 40th over. Yeah. So him getting 100 was a very important thing for them. Late order batsmen getting centuries is very important for them. Yeah. And I think that innings was an innings, okay, forget the opposition. Yep. But it was an important innings.
Well, Shoriful Islam, Taskin Ahmed will have their task cut out because they're going to bowl to an informed Babar Azam. Rizwan is there as well, and so is Imam. So it's going to be a difficult challenge to defend a score like 193. But Parthiv, they have another weapon in Mehdi Hasan Miraz, who is miserly as ever, very, very difficult to score off. Look at these numbers. Look at the economy. In 38 matches since Jan 21, an economy of less than 5.
Yeah, he's bowled really well, but you have to look at the, he has played most of the games in Bangladesh also, I think, that's where pitches help him. But I think, he has that variation, and probably against a team like Pakistan, when they have two openers, lefty openers, they might, try and use him early on. If they can get to early wicket, you never know what can happen. But yeah, I think the Mehdi Hasan Miraj has been a revolution kind of a cricketer for them. He goes wherever you want him to bat, he goes bat, he can score 100, and whenever there's wicket needed, he comes in and bowls those, takes those wickets. So yeah, Bangladesh will definitely be look up to him.
Lots of tweets coming Joy's way because people want him to look into their future. You said Mehdi shouldn't open. He opened, it didn't pay off, sir. Yeah. Sir, kaise kar lete ho, sir?
Not for that reason. Just that I look at that bowling attack and said, nobody who's not a proper batsman who wants to open against bowlers like that. Yeah. But it's really scary. But that's the truth. I mean, even Mehdi Hasan, I think what he said is very important. That if you have 194, if I'm Shakib, I have 194. 194 is not enough. Okay, so I can't play conventional cricket. Yeah. I can't just say, okay, I'll play my normal cricket and let the thing. Because if normal cricket happens, Pakistan gets it in the 35th over. So what can I do as a player to change, as a captain to change it? Left-handers, let me toss the ball to Mehdi early. Yeah. Let me try and do something different. It may work. If it does not work, it's okay. Because anyway, otherwise, under normal circumstances, I lose the match. So the important thing is, whenever a captain is in a situation which is disadvantageous, he should throw the dice. Because he has nothing to lose. And if by chance Mehdi takes a couple of wickets up front, little bit of panic, who knows what will happen.
Why don't we throw the dice as well? It doesn't cost us anything.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Sir, prediction for the first 10.
Yeah. First 10?
Yeah.
65.
For?
1.
57.
For?
Without loss.
Oh.
Without loss. I'm going to say 75 for 4.
You really want to go early.
For 4, I'm saying.
4.
Let's make it interesting.
Yeah, then he wants a 35.
So we get a good chase.
Another tight chase.
We have many more stories to talk about in our post-game show. But before that, we'll see you at the 15 over mark on Cricbuzz Combox. Enjoy the second innings. 15 over के बाद आना जरूर.